Hi everyone, my name is Andrew. I'm the founder of Propel Auth, and today we're going to learn about JWTs, or JSON Web Tokens, and we're going to try and learn about them through code examples. So at a high level, what a JWT is it's just a way to take JSON and to make it tamper-proof. And in order to understand that better, let's look at an example where JWTs are very commonly used, and let's look at what happens if we don't have them. So, one common case for JWTs is we have a login screen like this. We're building some web application. After the user clicks login, we want to return some information to them and have them return that information back later on, and then we should be able to know who they are. So, what if we just use JSON for that? What if we just said, you are user 38. We return a JSON string that looks like this, user ID 38, and we say later on, whenever you make any API requests, send us this JSON that says your user ID 38. Now, the advantage of something like this is it's totally stateless, right? Like, they send us this blob. We say, who is this? Oh, cool, they're user 38. All I have to do is do a quick lookup in this blob. The downside of this is we have no guarantee that they're actually user 38. Any malicious or honestly just curious user can do this, and now they're user 39. So this is where JWTs really shine. And let me quickly grab the code that's down here. And we're going to use this library called JSON Web Token. It's a very popular library within JavaScript. And what we're going to do is we're going to call this sign function. And the sign function takes in some JSON and a secret and returns to us a JWT. And so if we run this, we see that we get this string. And face value, I don't really know what this is, right? It has some structure to it, but we can't really tell anything. So the next function that it tells us to use is it tells us to use this verify function. And the verify function takes in the JWT, the output of the sign function, and a secret. And when we run this, well, we get back actually the JSON. We get back user ID 3, and we also get this extra field. Now, if you look this up, IAT actually stands for issued at, and this is the JWT library giving us a little bit of extra metadata about when we created this JWT in the first place. So what happens when I pass in an invalid secret? You can probably guess what's about to happen, but when I run this, I get an exception. And you can play around with this library for a while. You can also create new JWTs signed with different secrets. What you'll find is that the only thing that actually returns the underlying JSON from the verify function is a JWT secret pair where the JWT was signed with that secret. And so now the workflow becomes, I return this string to our user after they click our login button. I call verify, and I get the user ID out of the result of the verify function. And how is this different? The big difference is I know that the only way someone could have constructed this JWT is if they had my secret. So as long as my secret is actually secret, I have this property where I am confident that this is user ID 3. And the other nice thing is I still have all the same benefits that I had before, right? I still can do a lookup. I can say this is user ID 3. I don't have to go check a database or anything like that. It does come with one big downside. And the downside is it's very difficult to invalidate this token. And what that means is if someone else were to get this string, they are now user ID 3 and they're user 3 forever. So to counteract this, the JWT library actually provides a bunch of other things, right? There's this whole options blob that we haven't looked at, but one example of something that we can put in here is expires in. And expires in takes in a duration, and after that duration has finished, the verify function will no longer pass. And to make this easier, you can actually pass in a negative duration. So when I run this, you can see that it's saying that the JWT is expired. And this allows you to kind of limit the window. If someone else were to get that JWT, it's no longer valid forever. It's only valid for however long you give it. While one use case for JWTs is identifying users after they're logged in, there's actually a whole host of problems that are solved by JWTs. One example of this is A/B testing. If I wanted to put my users into different groups, let's say I have one group called Group A, I can just make this JSON, call it Group A. Let's say I want it to be valid for a week, we'll say 7 days. I take the JWT that's printed out here, I set it as a cookie for all the users in Group A, and then whenever they make requests to my backend, I look at this cookie, see what group they're in after I call the verify function, and return them a copy that's associated with Group A. Any problem that you can think of where you want to give something to a user and have them give it back to you later on and be confident that the thing that they gave back to you hasn't been tampered with, JWTs are a solution that you should consider. So I hope you learned something. If you want to see more content like this, check out our blog at propelauth.com/blog, or you can subscribe to this channel where we'll be putting out more content like this.